Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I am not talking. My mic is not on. It is now. Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. As you know, I come to you every Wednesday here on FBRN from 6 to 7 on the Blue Stream. And today I have three wonderful guests. Get your headsets on, boys. Ooh, people are already on listening.
Welcome,
all right.
everyone.
You see the one that's empty? Yeah. All right. Before we start, I always have to say something. Don't forget to come to the Arlington Museum of Art. We still have the Hiroshiga exhibit. It'll be here till February, and I am at the museum every Thursday from 10 to 1 o'clock. But come around and see it. It's pretty interesting. I enjoy being there or volunteering there. And also, Happy New Year's to all of my All About STEM Radio audience. This is 2019. Now, I don't know what your resolution is, but my resolution is I will not spend money for 21 days. Me, my sister, and my niece came up with that New Year's resolution. That's the only one I got. But, I just got an email that Macy's has a shoe sale for 75% off. That is hurting my feelings. Oh, my God. But I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. But anyway, today I have a great group of young men from a band called INF, or Infrastructures.
If you like the long name, yeah.
Yeah, if you like the... that's my son, Aaron. I put in his 2 cents. They're going to talk to you today about music production because they're getting ready to put out another album. Did you add some of your music to the...
I tried. It doesn't look like it's here.
Oh,
Is there another folder?
Did you put it in there?
Yeah, I put it in here.
Okay. In a second, go ask Victor, and he'll move it over.
Okay,
Go ask
cool.
Victor to come and move it over for you.
Sounds good.
Because he was asking if you had put it in there.
I did.
Yeah.
But we'll...
Because, see, there's a flight of...
some other...
yeah, there's some of your other music from last time. Anyway,
cool.
So, guys, take the opportunity to introduce yourselves.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Christian.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are
We are
Infrastructures.
INF Infrastructures.
Or rather, 3/5 of it.
Yeah, 3/5 of the project.
Who's missing? Who's missing?
Right now, we are missing 2 valuable members of our troupe.
Yes.
Our percussionist, Jacob.
And our keyboard player / synth player, Bobby. Or Robert, if you like full names. There's a little bit of a delay, so I can't tell yet.
Well, as we know, Bobby's the baby.
Bobby is indeed the baby.
Yeah, he's the baby, so we have to say that. So, tell me a little bit about, what y'all got going on this new year, 2019.
Well, going on, huh?
Let me back up a little bit. Let's start with Christian. Christian, tell us a
Christian.
little bit about yourself before we start.
My name is Christian. I am 23 years old. I like long walks on the beach, fried curry tofu, and dogs. And I am
You don't
one
even
of them.
have a dog.
I know I don't. I don't have to in order to like them.
He likes his friends' dogs.
And I am a vocalist within Infrastructures.
Victor about moving music.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Nathan. I played guitar on the project. I've been working on a couple different projects that I'm hoping to get out in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very skilled. He's just a little shy right now.
Yeah,
You can't be shy. Okay, so you're a recent high school graduate, aren't you?
I am.
So these are young people doing things. Christian is a great vocalist. I've followed him since he was in 9th grade.
I'm trying to keep up with Aaron.
He's a great vocalist. I've been following him since the ninth grade, and you did the lyrics, the vocals on Oceans, right, or part of it?
Yes. So, I actually met Aaron, who I would say is our capitan for this project, when I was 13 and he was about to turn 14. So in ninth grade, almost 10 years now. It will be 10 years next September. So although that is almost half of my life, it honestly doesn't seem like that long. It's like that Ben Affleck quote from Good Will Hunting, "Tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be 50." I woke up and I'm 23.
Oh yeah,
And I'm here with all of you now.
You're getting old.
Nope, I can't even afford. I can't even afford proper car insurance yet. 25. So.
Okay. And what about you, Nathan? Tell us a little about you.
Yeah, I'm just working on keeping busy with music and recording a lot. I'm working down in a studio with the Texas State down in San Marcos, and
You're at Texas State?
yeah, yes I am.
I don't know why I thought you were at Sam Houston.
Yeah, I'm over at Texas State in San
They
Marcos.
got a great program
Yes,
down
ma'am.
there.
Yeah.
Wow, so you're doing good. You're doing things.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like that.
working on it, and just trying to keep busy, recording and getting better at it, and playing guitar on as much stuff as I can.
You're a great guitarist.
Well, thank you.
And a singer.
Thank you.
And you still look okay after you cut your hair.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know my sister loved the long hair. She's like,
Right.
oh, look at Nathan.
The Goldilocks.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, tell us a little about you.
I am
Take it away, maestro.
I'm a maestro. I play the Aaron. No, I'm Aaron. I play guitar. I play bass, keyboard, all the stuff. I
sings.
guess I would be cited as like the primary composer of the Infrastructures record, but I had a whole bunch of hired guns. I had a whole bunch of good help, talented people to come in on the project. I guess to step out of just talking about that, I am primarily a producer, also a filmmaker on the chances that I get to make some really amazing stuff with some really amazing people in Dallas. And I guess that would be the brief synopsis of me: filmmaker, producer, audio-video guy.
If people want to look you up, you are on IMDb.
I'm on IMDb. For some reason, the very first film I got an IMDb credit in, they put my entire name.
Yeah.
So I just had to go with that for everything else. So I'm Aaron Morgan Payton on IMDb. Probably my LinkedIn as well if you guys link in with other people.
Cool.
But yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
So what's going on with the band these days?
This one?
Very exciting time.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
going on with the band?
Okay, so it goes way back more than just these days, because back in high school, me and Christian met. I expressed my interest in music to him. He expressed his interest in music to me.
Yeah.
And after that, we decided to create a first band. We had a whole bunch of talks about what the name would be and somehow settled on Infrastructures, the longest band name in the world. And we hammered that out for 3 years, and eventually members came and went, and we went off to college and
Yep.
just broke up after that. And that was in 2014, I believe. And then, life happened. You go to college, go to university, get your education, like a good boy. We all did it. And then I moved from a community college to a university, and
UTA.
me and Jacob, who's a drummer of INF, started having classes together, and we started talking more, and we were like, I told him, hey, we have some songs that haven't really completely been fleshed out, and I have a concept that I would really love to elaborate on. Would you be interested in making a record again under the same band name? And he was like, sure. So I got together with the pianist at the time, Bobby Miller, and I started mulling over ideas for the concept. We really fleshed it out together. We wrote the lyrics together, and it kind of became this film-style, storyline throughout the entire record. And Then I asked Christian if he'd be a part, and I asked Nathan to join the band because he was not in the band originally. We had a different guitarist.
Now,
And,
Nathan was in middle school when y'all first started.
Yeah, Nathan was
Pretty
a
much.
little nematode, a tadpole. He joined in as we were recording guitars and absolutely killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just recorded it very, very slowly over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a big thing for me was, since we had written it out like it was a film,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to get all of the music right.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to sound, me and Bobby wanted it to sound perfect emotionally
Mm-hmm.
without the words. So you can listen to the record as an instrumental and still get the same emotion as you would with the vocals.
Oh, okay.
So we spent a lot of time on that solely and figuring out what the lyrics would be. And me and Nathan hammered out guitars. Jacob came in and did percussion on top of his drumming.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did bass. Christian did vocals. Bobby did vocals and keyboard. We had some great talented musicians from the local area and even as far as Houston
Wow,
come
I didn't know
in
that.
to be on the record. And I think it's a great alternative rock, progressive rock
Mm-hmm.
piece of music
Mm-hmm.
that'll be out next Friday.
Oh, this soon.
Very soon,
Okay.
yes.
So, question: you were talking about people coming in, and Jacob doing the drums, and people
Yes.
coming in from other areas.
Hmm.
How did you layer all of that? Tell me how all of this got built together, because I'm from the old school. We all get in there, sing together, play the music, and we done.
Yeah. I even now, and I think this is something that I've picked up from being around Nathan so much. Nathan really likes older music, things that are like really raw. Wondering like how did they get that sound with a really minimal setup?
Yeah.
And that's definitely rubbed off on me. But given that I wanted people to come in, maybe schedules conflicted, and I couldn't get everyone in at the same time, so
Uh-huh.
I had to build things and then make them cohesive afterward.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess going in line with what me and Bobby had talked about and what the narrative of the entire album was, I had to, rather than write everyone's part and say, hey, come in and play this part, I was like, hey, even if it was just one person coming in for one song,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, this is what the story of this song is. Please take that whatever direction you want. Like maybe they have something that it relates to in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and just really elaborate on that emotion. So even when Nathan came in, I didn't say, hey, Nathan, play this part. I said, hey, Nathan, this is the tone of the song.
Uh-huh.
This is the emotion. This is what's happening to the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, run wild with that. See if you can elaborate on that. And I think he did great with that. I think Bobby did great with that. And even Christian changed some of the vocal parts that I wrote, and he did great with that.
Did I actually?
You actually did. Yeah.
Okay. So, you
It's
have
like
a couple of
directing.
songs. Do you want to play something now, or do either of you guys have something y'all want to say about the whole artistry of putting together this upcoming album?
I just think Aaron did a great job acting as the ringleader for this whole thing. I mean, he built it from the ground up, and I think it's a really cool project I've gotten to be involved on. I feel really lucky that Aaron called on me to come do some of the guitar stuff, and got to be involved with such a big deal,
How many songs are on this album?
There are 14.
14?
Yes.
How come y'all didn't get me to sing on one of them?
It all happened very fast.
We didn't know you wanted to.
You know, you were out of the country for the majority of
Yeah,
this
actually.
production.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's what y'all were doing while I was out
Yeah.
of the country.
It wasn't just sitting around and
Yeah.
playing shows.
Oh, okay.
We were hammering away at a really cool project.
Okay. So, you want
I can play. We released a single.
to, what is
I'll
that?
play the single. We're gonna release another single on Monday,
Okay.
but this is the first one. I guess we just double click, right?
So tell me about this one here. Let me get it up there.
Oh yeah, there it is. So this part's really loud.
All right, Aaron. Oops, am I on?
Yes, everything's just very, very quiet.
Okay. No, I'm not getting anything. Hold on.
I am. Is it there?
Okay. No, I'm not getting anything that's lighting up.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check, check.
Check, check, check. I'm not getting anything that's lighting up. Mic on. Click mic on. Now click it again.
Check.
Talk lock. Talk lock.
Talk, lock.
Okay. I don't know what's going on.
But we have stuff here. Is the computer just not
But I don't know. But so how did y'all come up with this is lot 5.
Log 5.
I mean log 5. Tell me about log 5.
Log 5 is the 5th song on the record, and it's the first one before the actual...
Yeah, something went crazy. It's the first one before the actual.
I want to make sure this is...
Oh yeah.
Sorry, you guys were off for 1 minute.
I didn't touch that.
Cool. Check, check.
Yeah, we're on. All
Cool.
right. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. That's what happens when you let a 60-year-old woman touch the board.
I didn't see it happen.
You don't give old people technology. I know I say that all the time. Anyway, you just played for us 5 log number 1. Tell me, what was that all about?
Well, log number 1 is the 5th song on the record, and it's really where the concept of the record kind of begins.
Mm-hmm.
Everything up until this point is pretty normal, pretty average. It's kind of like I don't want to say domestic, but it's pretty realistic to our world.
Uh-huh.
So it could just be an average everyday thing.
Okay.
Log 5 is where everything becomes kind of dreamlike and more like kind of leaning towards science fiction, because everything after that log becomes things that wouldn't actually happen in the real world. So I guess we can actually dive into the linear narrative of the entire record now,
Okay.
and that will make more sense.
Well, who played on that
On that,
strip?
that was me and Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
I think the recording of all the logs is really, really interesting.
Okay.
I wanted to do something live. Like I was saying earlier, I love Nathan's idea of things being more raw and stuff like that. So Nathan let me know that he had this little cassette player
Uh-huh.
that he had inherited from your grandfather, right?
Yes.
And he had been tracking stuff with it, and he thought it had a cool sound to it. And he was like, if you ever want to record something with it, let me know. And I was like, cool. And yes. So we sat down. I showed him basically just this acoustic guitar part, and he had written on top of it. I think we actually found a day, and we wrote the part.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was either like the following day or like very soon after we actually sat down and recorded it. So there's a video of it that'll probably hit the internet at some point, but it's just me and Nathan sitting in a room, both playing guitar live into this little
Huddled around that tape deck.
yeah huddled around a little tape deck. So it's it has like kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, kind of a wobbly feel to it. Just a really natural sound, not very processed.
So how long have y'all been working on this? You said you were working on it while I was out of the country, but
End of 2016 or end
That
of
long?
2017. End of
If you told me 2.5 years, which I also think that's accurate, so it would have
Yeah.
had to been end of 2016.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's been a long while.
So what's the music style?
Alternative rock, progressive rock.
Okay. Well, I know it had to be a while because you've been away at college, Nathan, and you were finishing school, and you were back in school, Christian. So, y'all were relatively busy throughout that year. So, oops.
Yeah,
Do you have any social media to where people can find y'all or listen to your music or find out what's coming up, Facebook, whatever? What do you have?
So for each of us individually, I know Christian's had his own musical escapades outside of the band. So I don't know if you have anything for that.
Not that I
Do
can
you have
say
a
for now.
Twitter,
Instagram,
Instagram,
anything.
MySpace?
My Twitter is just SmileBombX if you want to follow a vocalist that is involved with this project.
Okay, Smilebomb X.
Yeah.
What about you, Nathan?
Well, I'm just Nathan_Walt on pretty much everything. And then both me and Aaron are in a band called Big Red Ants, and that's
Oh yeah,
that
y'all
is
are
on-
the Big Red Ants.
Yes.
and
It's
that's
in
you can find that on all the social media. You just look up Big Red Ants.
Okay, where are they going to be able to find this album or
On
get the
this,
album?
Yes. So I have my own Instagram, which is PTS_Aaron, and in thinking about this record, I was like, okay, so we didn't have any social media. We had a Facebook.
Okay, hold on. Hello, listener.
Let's see.
I guess I answered
Check,
too
check.
late. Hold on.
We had someone call in.
Yeah, y'all had someone call in, but I wasn't looking. Hello, listener. Oh.
Hi, this is Joshua Johnston.
Okay, this is who?
Joshua Johnston. I'm friends with Christian and
Oh
Aaron.
my gosh!
Oh my god.
Holy, that is wild.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Hey, we're on the radio talking about a record.
Oh, yeah, for real? How's that going?
It's going well.
You have a good New Year's, man?
Yes, you have a good New Year's as well. By the way, anyone who's listening, this is a friend of mine and Christian's from high school. So over like 10
Josh
years
is
ago.
my childhood friend. You met him in high school.
I met him in high school.
Okay.
You remember Josh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He helped us put in those bricks in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
He's a
What have you
beautiful
been up
blonde
to,
boy.
Josh?
I've just been working. I'm actually at work right now. I just seen the little post on Instagram. I'm working for Domino's over here off of Fielder Road.
Okay. Have you listened to or
Just been
followed?
work.
Have you listened to or followed any of their music?
I've listened to a little bit, yeah. I just haven't kept up with it lately.
That's what we're on here talking about today. It's the music.
You're in luck.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you get the time, man, if Christian has my number, send me some songs, man, I can listen to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But, yeah, I was supposed to see how y'all were doing. I was like, man, I hope I'm not late, but.
Oh, no, we'll be here for the next 33 minutes.
Yeah, they need to talk a little faster.
Yeah. We're about to get started
well,
gritty.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let y'all go, though. I know y'all busy, and I'm going to get back to work. But, man, yeah, send me those songs, man. I want to hear what y'all got.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stay warm, dude.
Thank
All
you.
right, man. Y'all
Bye-bye.
take care.
You too.
Love you, buddy.
Thanks for
Bye.
calling.
Kind of scared me. I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think any of us were expecting Josh to call. But
That was a pleasant surprise.
It
Pleasant.
was great.
But social media. I think on Facebook, we have a Facebook. You can probably find us at something. But we have an Instagram, and it's _infrastructures_. I will
With an
find the
S,
Facebook.
infrastructures.
Yes, infrastructures, and that's pretty much all we have. We don't have a Twitter or anything else. But you can find us and follow us there. We'll be posting very band specific things.
Now, if you want to listen to some of the old infrastructures stuff on YouTube, just go to
And Spotify.
YouTube. Oh, and Spotify.
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
Go to YouTube or Spotify and type in infrastructures with an S, and a lot of their older stuff is there, and you'll get to see what they looked like when they were younger, because they were so cute.
You get to see me coughing constantly on stage.
Oceans was on,
It's on the first record.
but I found that on Bandcamp the other day.
Yes, everything's on Bandcamp as well.
Yeah, because you got a lot of music on Bandcamp that's really good.
Yeah.
But that's some of your older music. So you had told me at home that there was some things specifically that you wanted to discuss. Do you remember what they
yes.
were?
So I'm gonna run through that real quick, and
Go.
then I'm gonna run through the album real quick, and then
Yes.
I'll talk about those things that we were gonna talk about. So the album is a concept piece. We're gonna run through that concept really quickly. So it starts. It's a very drama-driven thing at the very beginning, and then it gets into like a sci-fi thing, where all the sci-fi stuff is really just a kind of a metaphor for how people process things emotionally.
Uh-huh.
And then it ends off with a great acceptance of an emotion. So the narrative starts with a wedding and how our first main character, whose name is Cornelius, is kind of dealing with his like kind of struggle in his marriage. And you know how you just kind of have to adjust to new relationships. That's kind of like what the song is, and I have that one. We're going to play that one in a little bit here. And then his wife gets sick in the second song, and he doesn't quite know how to process that. And it's kind of like one of those growing moments where you kind of have to get over yourself and just like start to care for someone else. There's like no time for you. You have to have time for someone else, and he doesn't really know how to process that.
Yeah.
And then it leads off into his poor reaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he loses his wife and has to figure out how to take care of his son alone. And the way that he figures out how to take care of his son is he is approached by a man with an offer, and this man is saying, hey, all you got to do, and this will only take a couple of years, is go out to the Bermuda Triangle and just draw me a map of everything. If you find any islands there, please chart that. If you don't, just say it's all water. And he's like, that's it? That's all I have to do to make money to take care of my son? Yeah, I'll do that. And then he gets on a ship with his son, goes out to the Bermuda Triangle, and he's like, just full steam ahead, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's kind of okay until we start to hear his son speak a little bit about his father, and he doesn't see his father in like the greatest of lights. So we hear the son's name is Timothy. We hear his first words, and that will be in a song called Foster, which will come out on Monday. That'll be the next single. And he speaks just super negatively about his father, and he's like, if I had it my way, this whole ship would just sink because this guy is just not cool. And it does. His emotions kind of react or have an effect on the real world. It's all a metaphor, but it has an effect on the real world, and the ship sinks, and he's separated from his father, and now he's adrift, has no idea what it's like to have like a stable foundation, and kind of has to come to terms with that. And at first he just erupts. He gets even more mad, and that's that really long song called Pangea that me and Nathan spent 8 hours recording guitars for. He just kind of erupts. He's really mad, and then he washes up on this island, and he's sitting there, and he's just alone, and he sees this little frog. He like makes friends with this little frog, and he's like, cool, I have this thing that I can take care of. And then he sees this frog is like hopping around, and it jumps into this like little like tide pool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically just kind of this like acidic tide pool, and he sees this frog just die, and he's like, what is... And it like snaps him into this realization that like all these emotions are temporary, and that he has to move on and like be better than whatever was before him.
Yeah.
So he stops hating his dad, and he's like, I need to do better for myself because I'm pretty sure my dad would want that for me.
So how did you come up with all of this emotional?
A lot of it is
Is it because I left you and went to South Korea?
no, it's not. Some of it is based on like little things that have happened in my life, like the really sad points.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are very clear, and some of them are like way more abstract.
Yeah.
Like some of it is just to deal with moments I've had in my life where I didn't know how to deal, so I just wrote music. And I'm like, need to take a second here. But
Are you getting emotional here?
yeah, well, yeah.
This is something I think as an artist, and I think specifically for you as well, this
Yeah.
As a STEM major and someone who's interested in STEM, I think this also applies. Whenever you began your journey because you had something that you wish to express.
Yeah.
For Aaron, he had an itch that he wanted to express, and so for him, his mode was through music, and for you is through chemistry and everything that you've learned since you began.
Yeah.
It's similar to, I think it can be as instinctual as being thirsty and wanting water.
Yeah.
I have this negative feeling. How do I satiate it? Oh, I'll drink some water, and that'll help me. For you, it's significantly deeper. I'm curious about this thing. How do I satiate this curiosity? I'm going to explore it. And you continue to that until it's satiated.
Yeah. So to get a little bit more specific with the record, there's the third track is it's about the character like losing someone that he loves, his wife. And I think it's something that me and Christian share in common because we were both very close to our grandmas. We both lost in the same way. This character lost his wife. And I am trying to steady my voice. But
You're okay. I love you, babe.
I try and make these moments as like real to me as possible. And I'm hoping that they come across, you know? So
And you made a comment when you were playing 5 lot number 1. Why did you make those lots? Logs, sorry.
Log.
I keep
Yeah.
saying lot, but it's logs.
yeah, they're logs. They're kind of breaks from the emotion surrounding all the other songs. Like, I'm sure if there's like something going on in your life and you're just, you know, just kind of overstimulated, no matter if it's like, man, like maybe if you're having like a really good day, maybe you would just stop and you'd be like, wow, this is a really nice day. Or if, you know, on the other side of the coin, you're having a really bad day, sometimes you're like, okay, I just need to like step away from something, whatever that may be, and just like breathe.
For example, I understand this is not discussed in the radio broadcast, however,
What?
you're a very big fan of the Harry Potter world, right?
Yes, you know I am.
Yeah.
For example, within those books, J.K. Rowling purposefully puts sort of slice of like world building breaks in between the big plot piece moments
Yes.
in order for the reader not only to sort of come down and reset their emotional and mental state in regards to what's happening in the story, but also in order to expand within the world.
But why is that important in music? Why are these breaks important?
I think the breaks are important because, and I might just be speaking for myself and maybe a few other people out there, but I like to listen to albums as whole sets, or songs, just things that bands put out as a set of music instead of just single after single. So when I write, I try and write with a set of music in mind, and with this, it's even more specific because it's a whole concept piece. When you're going through those kind of things, you're probably going to want to break. Not everything can be at 100%. And that's what the logs are for. They're for the break, but they also do build narrative as far as where everything is. In log 1, you can hear the guitars playing, you can hear the ocean in the background, and you can hear these vocalizations. And these vocalizations are mermaids,
Okay.
which are also a metaphor.
Because I heard the water and I was like, okay, where'd they get the water from?
I went to the ocean.
Yeah, I remember you went down. You told me you were going to Galveston
Yeah.
and to record sound, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make this entire thing like as much mine as possible, and like just everything that I could get on my own, I would get on my own.
a true film major,
True film
dedicated
major.
to Foley, which is
The art of recording, not only voices or instruments, but sounds that happen in the real world.
like,
Okay. Now, who were, other than Jacob, you talked about Jacob.
Yes.
Who
let's
were
talk
some
about
of the
people.
other artists? I mean, you talked about Jacob and Bobby, but who are some of the other artists that are on this album?
So, someone that really stuck out to me when I was playing around in the Arlington music area was like an upright bass player named Chris Pitts, and
Not a guitar bass, a actual bass.
like a
upright.
double bass.
Yeah, double bass.
His viewpoint, at the very few times I talked to him at shows, his viewpoint of music just really like stuck with me, and I thought there's this really open section in this one song. It would be really, really cool if I could get him on the record to play for that section. And he came in and we recorded that, and then we talked for like 5 hours. Not 5 hours, it's like 2 hours, but his idea of music is so freeform, and it's just so raw, and he's a jazz player, so he comes from the world of jazz and I come from the world of like rock and roll, so the two kind of merging is just a really beautiful thing for me. And I just, when you're thinking a certain way for so long and then someone comes by and they're like, but you should try that, and you're like, oh, I should try that. It's exactly what that was for me with asking Chris to come and help.
Yeah, because the upright bass is normally not on a rock album.
Yes.
It's not something you would normally use. So, because I think I remember meeting him when I was home for some reason, and I saw him come down the stairs. So, is there anyone else?
Yes, there's a few other people. So, I had my stepbrother Tyler. He played trumpet on a song called "Into the Wreckage." And after we recorded trumpet, he was like, hey, would you like to also layer flugelhorn on this? And I was like, flugel what? And he's like, flugelhorn. And he pulled it out, and it was like a slightly smaller looking trumpet.
Oh, okay. Because I knew he played trumpet, but I didn't know he played something else.
It's basically the same style of playing. It has like a mouthpiece the same way a trumpet does. It's just a different tone. And also you have to breathe slightly differently because it's a smaller diaphragm. But he played on that song. Then I had my friend Michael, who I did a favor for. I helped him kind of like with art direction and recording audio for one of his films. And he was like, I kind of play violin. And I was like, well, you're going to play violin on my record whenever I get around to it. And that was like a year before we actually started recording stuff. He came in and he played on a song called Atlantis the Lie and From the Wreckage, and completely just killed it. He nailed it. It's amazing. He's an amazing violin player, and I'm surprised he hasn't really played on anything else that he wanted to talk to me about. Then I had my friend Lauren Lawson. She's married now, so her
My
name's
Lauren?
Yeah, her name's Lauren
Oh,
Kennard
my
now.
God. My Lauren. She's on this?
Yeah.
Y'all, Lauren has a voice.
You'll be
I
able
mean,
to hear it on the single.
Chris has a voice like an angel. She has a voice like 100 angels. Not that you can't sing, Chris, because you know I love you.
I'm just trying to keep up with him.
But I am so happy you got her. 'Cause she's been around us forever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm finally glad to have her on an INF song because we talked about it like since INF started, and it just never happened. But yeah, she's gonna be on for a little guest spot in the single that comes out on Monday. It's called Foster 1460. And I think that's it as far as like whole sections go. We had a group vocal day where it was me, Christian, Nathan, Samuel, it's one of Nathan's friends, and then one of Samuel's friends, I don't remember his name, sadly. And yeah, I thought bringing other people in to this project to kind of flesh it out, make it its own whole thing would be smart, would be good. And would keep it from being a narrow-minded thing.
Okay. So are y'all gonna do any shows, or you just making music right now with INF?
We talked about possibly doing a show. We'll have to figure out the logistics of that
Yeah.
because the record is very dense. It
Yep.
has a lot of layers. I don't know like how practices would work. There would have to be 6 of us every practice and balancing 6 post-college schedules.
Oh yeah.
It's going to
Oh
be
yeah. Because
a tense one.
everybody, well, who's not in school? You're not in school anymore. Jacob isn't in school anymore. But everybody else
Yeah,
is still in
everyone else is.
college.
I can't afford to be in school, so the 3.
You're off and on.
He is on and off.
Yeah. So
But, yeah,
you're still in colleges
if we did a
and
show,
working. So it is kind of difficult. So do you have anything that's already out?
we have Log 1 is out.
Log 1 is out.
The single on Monday and then the record on Friday.
And what's the single on Monday?
That is called Foster 1460.
Okay. All right. And what else is this that you brought for
Yes.
us to listen to?
Of one more single, one more song. It's the very first. It's the very first song on the record. It's called Growth, and it's Christian singing. I'm
Uh-huh.
playing bass and doing some background vocals. Nathan's
Okay.
doing his lead guitar thing. Bobby on synth, Jake on drums.
Okay. Can we listen to that one?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up and we'll get out of everyone's hair.
Oh,
And thank everyone
y'all check
for
him out. He's
watching.
trying to run my show.
We certainly hope that you enjoy this.
Yes.
Hello, hello. What is going on?
Okay, hold on.
Uh-uh, uh-uh.
Hold on. Turn this off. Turn this off. I remember going through this
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a sec. Check. Nope, check.
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go.
All right. I don't know what's going on with this.
I know
Keep
it now.
telling y'all, don't let old people use technology. Although, you know, I can build robots and all that fun stuff. Oh, and I learned 3D printing this year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That is
It's so
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Okay. We've got about 3 minutes left, but that song was good. Was nice. It was good.
Thank you.
And Nathan did the guitar solo on there, so you get to hear a little bit of what Nathan did.
You're so skilled.
Chris, that was Christian singing. See, he's got the little voice like a cherub, and the little cherub cheeks. And Aaron was doing the chorus. Was anybody else singing? Did Bobby do any singing?
He actually, there's a thing called a vocoder where you're basically singing through a keyboard.
Uh-huh.
It's in the chorus of that song.
Okay.
So he did singing, he did all the keyboard work.
Okay.
And of
So
course,
tell us about that song.
That song was,
What was the name of it?
it's called Growth. It's the
Okay.
first song on the record.
Recorded in a closet.
Recorded in a closet. I think it's actually kind of cool. The scope of the entire record was recorded in our house. So the record is called A House with Throwing Stones. By the way, I don't know if we said that at all today, but the recording process or the song or the concept.
Whichever you want.
Well, the lyrical process was we have to write a song about these two people getting married, and the husband being like
In the honeymoon
mentally
phase.
too young to be getting married. He doesn't know how to care for anyone but himself. He's just a selfish dude. So that's the song. It's just like, yeah, we're doing this thing together. I guess it's cool, but it's a love song essentially. It's a love
Okay.
song, and I just knew I had to make an upbeat song, and I thought it should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty sure that's what I told Nathan when he was writing the solo.
And how was it recording this one?
That's a good question for not me.
It was fun. I just, waddled on over to the house. Aaron said, all right, get in here. These are the lyrics. I actually prepped to sing it. I believe this was the shortest recording day because this is the only song that we had recorded on that day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this song was pretty easy to record. There are certain songs on the record which I can't really name them because you have no context of them because you haven't heard it yet, but there were certain songs that were a little difficult for me because of the timing and having to remember where to breathe and things like that. But no, I think this is the most probably the most upbeat song on the record,
Mm-hmm.
and I sincerely hope you all enjoyed it because I enjoyed being on it.
Okay. Nathan?
Yeah, like in.
I mean, you took over the guitar part. I mean, you were awesome.
Well, thank you. There was a couple of songs that I think we kind of sat down and wrote some parts for, but for most of these sessions, I tried to not have stuff written going into it. I think it's always, like when you're recording stuff, it always feels better when you're kind of coming up with it as you're going. It's a little bit more organic that way. So, like, all the parts in that, I think, were kind of done that way, where we kind of wrote it as we went in the studio. Like the solo was done that way. I kind of built it up through a handful of takes. It wasn't anything that was preconceived going into it,
Yeah.
And I think that's always kind of, like I said, like a more organic way of building tunes up,
So what's going to be next for y'all?
The release of the album,
Yes.
the
There
feedback,
was,
and then potentially
promotional
lives.
stuff.
Oh, that's right. School will be starting back, so
Yes.
it's going to be this mass exodus of people going back to, as Christian says, your normal lives.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I apologize. I was referring to potentially live shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potential live shows. I think since we're not certain on the live show or when it would be, the most we can do, since this is a project where we're not going to be able to promote it with people
Yeah.
coming to shows, then we're gonna have to like keep doing more stuff like this. You have to
Of
find
course.
a way to promote, and that was like the last point I wanted to talk about is
Okay. Make it quick because we
yes.
got to go off.
yeah. So when it comes to your bands, no matter how young or old, you have to find a way to promote your music, whether that be playing live shows, creating really cool merch, or going on radio shows, or finding a way to get people to talk about it or to talk to people about it.
Okay.
And if you're a young person in a band, you gotta know to do that stuff.
Okay. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been All About STEM Radio Show, and I have had a great time with INF. You know what? That sounds like, you know, a like criminal organization, INF.
Welcome to INF.
I shouldn't say that. Like a security organization, something like that.
I was gonna say CIA, make it
CIA,
sound nicer, less
FBI,
nefarious.
INF, NSA. All right, let me stop joking. Great group of young men and Lauren, and they're gonna have a song coming out on Monday. What song was that?
Foster 1460.
Foster 1460, and the album will be coming out on Friday. Well, hey, this has been Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. I will be back next week with a wonderful, wonderful female engineer from India. And I am so excited about having her. And I don't have her name in front of me, but from my communication with her over the past few months, she is awesome, and she has sent me pictures and things of what she's doing with some of the young people in India, and I am so excited. So thank y'all for tuning in, and until next week, this is Dr. Mary Payton with All About